Good evening. We'll go ahead and call to order the Enterprise Town Advisory Board meeting for October 28th, 2020. Will you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? And for roll call, let the record show all members are present. We do have Kendall via WebEx. County staff introductions. We do have Mark with current planning, Tiffany Husser with Commissioner Now's office, and Carmen, Town Board Secretary. A few meeting notes before we get started. Items on the agenda may be taken out of order. The board may combine 2 or more agenda items for consideration. The board may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item at any time. No action may be taken on any matter not listed on the posted agenda. All planning and zoning matters heard at this meeting are forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners Zoning Commission, the BCC, or the Clark County Planning Commission, the PC, for final action. So we are just a recommending a board. Next brings us to first public comment. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public about items on this agenda. No discussion, action, or vote may be taken on this agenda item. You will be afforded the opportunity to speak on individual public hearing items at the time that they are presented. If you wish to speak to the board about items within its jurisdiction but not appearing on this agenda, you must wait until comments by the general public period listed at the end of this agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. We do have the speaker's podium, if you can clearly state your name and address for the record. So at this time, I'll go ahead and open up the public comment. Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public comment. Next brings us to the approval of the minutes from the Enterprise Town Advisory Board meeting from October 14th, 2020. I don't see any changes. No. So with that, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes from October 14th, 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next brings us to the approval of tonight's agenda, October 28th, 2020. This time I'll go over 3 applicant requested holds and a group of related applications that will be heard together. First, applicant requested holds will be items number 2, item 3, and item 4. Number 2 is VS200399. Number 3 is WS200398. And number 4 is TM205000138. So those items will be held and will not be heard this evening. Next is one group of related applications that will be heard together, and that is items number 10 and items number 11. Number 10 is WC204-00116, UC078916, and item number 11, DR200445. Those 2 applications will be heard together. I don't have anything else for that. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve tonight's agenda with those applicant requested holds for October 28th, 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next brings us to informational items. One announcement we have is applications are available until November 15th, 2020 for appointments by the Clark County Board of County Commissioners to serve on the Enterprise Town Advisory Board for a 2-year term beginning January 2021. And do we have any other announcements? No? Okay, perfect. So that now brings us down to planning and zoning. First on our agenda is item number 1. VS200401, vacate and abandonment easements of interest to Clark County located between Rainbow Boulevard and Redwood Street and between Pebble Road and Torino Avenue within Enterprise. Description and file. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Matt Loser. I'm with Valley Civil Design Group at 8275 Southeastern in Las Vegas. We are here to vacate some easements that are no longer required, and we're going to vacate up to the back of curb. It's pretty much routine, but these items here are the easements that are actually being vacated. Right here, this is the back of curb. That's all I have.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your presentation. So at this time, I'll open up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on item number 1? Okay. Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public comment. Open it up to the board members. No? No? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I have no other comments as well, so I'll go ahead and make a motion on item number 1, VS 200401, approval per staff conditions. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Okay, items 2, 3, and 4 have been held. That brings us down to item number 5. UC 200432, use permits for the following. 1, to allow accessory structure not architecturally compatible with the principal building. 2, allow an accessory building to exceed 1/2 the footprint of the principal dwelling. And 3, waive design standards on 0.5 acres in a RE Real Estates Residential RNP1 zone, generally located on the northwest corner of Warm Springs Road and Cameron Street within Enterprise. Hi, good evening.
Hi, I'm stepping in for Paul Latour. He lost his brother last night and had to fly out. My name is Mike Newman. I'm familiar with the project. First time being here, so I'm not sure.
Okay, perfect. If you kind of just want to walk us through, because it's for a use permit, just about the project and the accessory structure.
So I did bring a sample of what the building kind of looks like. He's got one of these in another project.
Perfect. You can actually place that on the thing, and the camera will pick it up for everybody to see. There you go. Perfect. That was perfect timing on your part.
I was at a different location. I
Yes,
apologize.
I heard. No problem.
Okay. So the building would be in the north, the backyard. There's a gate that enters off of Cameron. And he's gonna have the building, it would be 65 feet long, 30 feet wide. And he'll come in off of that gate off of Cameron. He's gonna be storing classic vehicles, side by side, some yard tools and stuff like that there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your presentation. So at this time, I'll open up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on item number 5? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public comment and open it up to the board members.
It'd be DG, decomposed granite he'll have a little slab out of the front of the building. I think we were talking 10 feet out, just if he wants to pull his car out and wash it there, but from the gate to the slab would only be DG. Huh? Oh, yes, yeah. Okay.
No question. Oh. Okay, perfect. I have no other questions as well. It looks like I saw the aerial map with the neighbors, and it looks pretty compatible with some of the other.
And it'd be painted to match the
residents.
property as well, so.
Okay, perfect. No other questions? No? Okay. So with that, I'll go ahead and make a motion on item number 5, UC 200432, approval per staff conditions. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yes, perfect timing.
I know, right?
Okay, next item on our agenda is item number 6, VC 200434, variance to reduce the rear setback on 0.1 acres in a R2 medium density residential zone PC Planned Community Overlay District zone within the Southern Highlands Master Planned Community. Generally located on the west side of Pinetana Street and the east side of Romani Avenue, 270 feet south of Robert Trent Jones Lane within Enterprise. Good evening.
How are you?
Hello.
We're
Sir, if you could just
requesting-
move the mic closer to the mic is able to move? Oh, okay.
I'm requesting to have a professional install a 10-foot patio cover on the rear of the house. And in order to do it, I need a variance on the setback.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your presentation. Oh, yes, and may you please just state your name and address for the record, please?
The address
And your name, please.
is 12325 Pinetena Street,
And your name was?
Ronald Springer.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so at this time, I'll open up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on item number 6? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public comment, open it up to the board members.
Has the HOA approved of the project? Do you know?
Excuse me, could you say
Has
it
the
again?
HOA approved of the project, Davidson Sun Highlands?
I still couldn't hear you, sir.
Has the HOA approved of the project?
Yes, the HOA is in the process of approving it if I get it passed through here. That's Southern Highlands. And also, both the neighbors on the right, the neighbors on the left have approved it. And there is there's no property owners on the rear of the building, and there's a 10-foot concrete fence on the back of the building also on the property.
Yeah, thank you.
Barry, do you have any questions? No? Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a problem because of the road configuration. There's 2 properties there that are about 20 feet shorter than the rest of in that area. And as long as he gets the HOA approval, then I think he should be set to go. So I'll make a motion, item number 6, VC 200434, approval per staff conditions.
Okay, so with that motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Question,
Yes.
would I be notified that this process is going to go through okay?
So you have another meeting on November 17th. You're going to the Planning Commission.
Thank
So
you
you
very
have, it should be final action after Planning Commission. Yes,
That'll be here also.
same room. Mhm.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Okay, our next item on the agenda is item number 7, ET 204001110, UC 079016, use permit second extension of time to complete the following. 1, reduce the separation for a proposed convenience store to a residential use. 2, reduce the separation for a proposed gasoline service station to a residential use. 3, reduce the separation for a proposed vehicle wash to a residential use. And 4, reduce the separation for a proposed vehicle maintenance building smog check to a residential use. Waivers of development standards to reduce the driveway separation. Waiver of conditions of a zone change. NCC 033904, WC 004206, requiring per revised plans on file dated February 3rd, 2006. Design reviews for the following. 1, a proposed convenience store and retail building. 2, proposed gasoline service station. 3, proposed vehicle wash. And 4, proposed vehicle maintenance building, smog check on 1.4 acre portion of a 4 acre site in a C1 local business zone and a C2 general commercial zone. Generally located on the northeast corner of Gomer Road and Fort Apache Road within Enterprise. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members. John Vorn, Sand 62 Swan Circle, Henderson, representing the application. This is a portion of a larger development that has been approved in phases. They are moving forward with the project. They have their construction plans completed. They have, I believe, submitted to Public Works for their drainage studies. However, they've been delayed because of the COVID-19. And they're respectfully requesting 2 additional years. We'd ask that you follow staff's recommendation.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. At this time, I'll open up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on item number 7? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public comment. Board members? No, and you're okay with the January 4th, 2022 to complete
Yes.
for current planning? Okay.
So, your application was from 2016, and you're saying the last 6 months is what's caused the,
No, not totally. This was the first phase. They had it, actually, they came through for a couple design reviews, made amendments to the plans. Then they came in with a design review to add a tavern. Then they came in with a design review to add a childcare facility and a fast food, which has all been added since then. Then they put the plans together within the last 6 months to a year. They finalized those plans, and that's where they're at today, but they're ready to move forward now.
and I'm sure you'll relate to your client that second extensions are less common than first extensions, and third extensions are even less so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long process.
Been a long process on this one, yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And many, many hearings and a lot of neighbors and a lot of comments and, you know, so the fact we don't have a horde of neighbors here tonight says something. So, yeah, it needs to be built on that corner, so that corner is finally taken care of. Fort Apache is approved, Gomer's approved in that corner, now the whole traffic in that area also. So, I'll make a motion on ET 204001110 UC 079016 for approval per staff conditions.
Okay, so with that motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is item number 8, ET 204001113, WS 180658, waivers of development standards, first extension of time to commence the following. 1, increase retaining wall, screen wall height, and 2, allow non-standard street sections in conjunction with the proposed single-family residential development. Design reviews for the following. 1, single-family residential subdivision, and 2, increased finish grade on 7.2 acres in a RE, Rural Estates Residential RNP1 AE 60 zone, generally located on the east side of Valley View Boulevard and the north side of El Dorado Lane within Enterprise. Good evening.
Good evening, Robert Cunningham, 6030 South Jones Boulevard, Botani Engineering, representing the developer, Jewel Homes. We're asking for an extension of time on this. We've had a couple of delays. There's 2 existing petroleum or fuel lines that serve the valley that run right down Valley View. We went and had to pothole them not only once but twice due to changes in the plan with the water district and the way they wanted us to serve the property, as well as going through a drainage study. Now we have to run a storm drain pipe crossing it. That's led to delays beyond us being able to get the project approved in the first 2 years. We now have a drainage study approved. We're working through the plan review process. Anticipate approval in the next 6 to 8 months or less than that, and for them to start construction. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
that. This time I'll open up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on item number 8? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public comment. Board members?
Yeah, this is another piece that's been long fought over. And the design that's in here has the most concurrence of a neighborhood and probably fits the best. Far better than the warehouse that was really proposed and ended up in the state Supreme Court in there. So I'm in favor of the extension.
Yes, I agree as well. Other questions? No? Okay, so with that, I'll go ahead and make a motion on number 8, ET 204001113, WS 180658 for approval per staff conditions. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next item on the agenda is number 9, ET 204001115, UC 006117. Use permits second extension of time for the following. 1, permit and proposed multifamily residential development, and 2, increased building height. Waivers of development standards for the following. 1, reduce front setback. 2, reduce side corner setback. 3, reduce height setback ratio adjacent to a single-family residential use. 4, allow balconies to overlook single-family residential uses. And 5, reduce height setback ratio from an arterial street, Windmill Lane. Design review for a proposed multifamily residential development on 5.1 acres in an H1 limited resort and apartment zone, generally located on the northeast corner of Windmill Lane and Giles Street within Enterprise. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Town Board members. My name is Tony Celeste, address 1980 Festival Plaza Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. As you can see from the overhead, the site is about 5 acres located on the northeast corner of Windmill and Giles. We are coming in for an extension of time for an approved 235 unit multifamily development. One of the reasons for the extension of time is directly to the north right here is also an approved sister project with basically the same heights, same densities. We will be coming in for that first extension here relatively shortly. One of the reasons for the extension is we wanted to coordinate these properties to be developed together since they are kind of sister properties and will be have the same look and a lot of cross access. And Santoli had been vacated and there's ability to come in through there. So that is one of the primary reasons for the extension, is to help coordinate these projects. And finally, we will be coming in, you will be seeing here in the next probably 2 to 3 months, proposed plans for the eastern half of that property that is adjacent to Haven there. So this is kind of a work in progress, 20 acres there, kind of composing a full master plan of it. We appreciate staff's recommendation of approval and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you so much for that. At this time, I'll open up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on item number 9? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public comment. Board members? No? Okay, and you're okay with the dates for 2022?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect, okay. So with that, I'll go ahead and make a motion on item number 9, ET 204-00115, UC 006117, approval per staff conditions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, have a great night.
Thank you, you too. Our next items on the agenda that will be heard together, item number 10 and item number 11. Number 10 is WC 204-00116, UC 078916, waiver of conditions of a use permit requiring a 14-foot intense landscape buffer on the west property line with Mondale Pines in conjunction with a previously approved commercial center on a 1.5-acre portion of 3.8 acres in a C1 local business zone, generally located on the west side of Jones Boulevard and the south side of Cactus Avenue within Enterprise. Item number 11 is DR 200445. Design reviews for the following. 1, parking lot landscaping. 2, site design changes to a previously approved commercial center on a 1.5-acre portion of 3.8 acres in a C1 local business zone, generally located on the west side of Jones Boulevard and the south side of Cactus Avenue within Enterprise. Good evening.
Good evening again, Madam Chair, board members. John Vornzan, 62 Swan Circle, Henderson, for the applicant. The zoning on this was originally zoned to C1 back in 2007. 2014, a convenience market with gas and car wash was approved on the site, and that plan was amended a couple of times since that time. In 2016, the property to the west was not yet developed or engineered. The developer, future developer of that property at that time, zoned R2, said, well, it allows 15-foot rear setbacks here. With a 15-foot rear setback, we would like you to have, rather than the 10-foot of landscaping, we want 14 feet. That property is now developed. When they engineered it, as you can see here, there is a 30-foot wide private drainage and public sewer easement that's located directly west of the property line. That goes down for a portion of the property. Then there is a substreet in this location. The homes are set back 40 feet from that property line because of that easement that they did not know about in 2016. We're requesting that the 14 feet be allowed to go 10 feet. Will be an intense landscape buffer. It'll be well landscaped, 24-inch box trees, 10 foot on center. And again, with the 40-foot setback of those homes, staff also feels that there is not an adverse effect on the adjacent property. In addition, if we did move everything 4 feet to the east, as you can see, the traffic flow coming through here is very smooth now. That would literally move that 4 feet and possibly cause some conflicts coming in, as these parking spaces would be another 4 feet into that aisle. We would, I guess, the next issue then would be the landscaping for the landscape finger. That landscape finger would be required right here, right in front of the front door. This is premium parking for a convenience market. This parking needs to be maximized. A tree, or if it were planted there, could possibly grow over the portion of the sidewalk there near the front door, causing problems, etc. Staff basically has no issues with it, as they say, and I can't probably say it any better. They said the landscape plan shows 62 trees throughout the site, and eliminating a landscape finger adjacent to the convenience store building does not diminish the overall impact of the proposed landscaping plan. We are well landscaped on it. The remainder of the shopping center to the south will be coming before you in the near future. It'll also be well landscaped with intense landscape buffer on that west side. We would again respectfully request that you follow staff's recommendation for approval, and glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much for that. At this time, I'll open up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on items number 10 or item number 11?
That's a picture of the easement right here, I might add. You can see the easement. This is our property line over here. This is the first home. As you can see, these homes, again, our property line, they're about 40 feet back of that property line now.
Okay, perfect. So at this time, I'll close public comment and I'll open it up to the board members.
Yeah. Now, is the car wash going to be on that western property line?
Yeah, the car wash this is the car wash right here. And it's always been on that western property line.
Yeah, that's only my real concern.
Well, even with the if these houses were normal, they're normal R2s, and they were a 15-foot setback, then you'd have 14 feet. It'd be 19 or 29 feet to the car wash, the 15 plus the 14. What we're doing is asking for 10 feet. These houses are 40 feet back. They'll be 50 feet from that car wash, plus the landscape, the intense landscape.
In the county standard 200?
That was waived years ago. That was waived back in 2016.
I know it's been waived, but
that's right.
It becomes
200 feet. That'd be also for the convenience market and the gas pumps.
Yeah, you know that's my concern, because I know at one time that was planned as commercial property, way back when. So that's my only concern. The landscaping, I think, is fine the way it's being done. It's just the placement of the car wash.
Yeah, and I should add, that car wash has been in that. These people know it was there. I don't see anyone here tonight. This has been on the board since 2016. Or actually 2014, that car wash was originally approved there.
In general, I think that the increased spacing was a concession to allow the convenience store that close to the residential. And my first initial instinct is that waiving the conditions later on, now that there isn't a consolidated developer next door and it's individual homeowners, concerns me.
If I might add, Madam Chair, in 2014, when it was originally approved, it was at 10 feet. So when we came back at 2016, the new owner took over the development there to the west and felt that his houses would be at 15-foot setbacks. Now we have a drainage easement, walls, stub street. That wasn't planned there before, and that's why we're asking for the 4-foot reduction.
And towards the end of that drainage easement, is that the first house that's on that plan?
Right here, that's correct, and this house is this is a block wall, and this is the stub street, then you got a block wall, then the houses are right here.
So the house that I'm seeing at the end of that drainage, the house that I'm seeing at the end of that drainage easement.
You're talking
that-
here? Okay.
Is that actually at the end of it?
Oh, right here?
Yes.
Okay, that house is facing toward Cactus. That's the side of the house.
So is that not if you put your hand back up where it was, if you trace it to your left, keep going all the way over to your plan, is that not that lot line right there?
That's the lot line. No,
No,
that's
no,
not,
off-
the
I'm
lot
sorry.
line is actually over here. This
Off
is
of
his lot
your-
line.
Off of your picture onto the plan, that first lot line right there, is that not?
This is the lot line here. This easement you're looking at right
Yes.
here is this easement right here. It's
And
30
it
feet.
terminates at the end of that parcel
Terminates
where
at
the
the
dotted
block-
line is?
That's right, the block wall, right where the pen is sitting, that's that block wall right there.
No, I'm saying further to the south,
To the south, okay?
where that
That
dotted
would
line
be
is.
down in this area
That's that
here.
house that's right there, right?
This house is 40 feet back. This house right here, that would be this house right back in
So
here.
it's that's what I was
That's
asking.
this
Is it
house here.
was it
That's right.
those houses to the right of your picture, or was that the end of the picture at that block wall? Was that the end at that dotted line?
Right here,
No, right in the center of the picture.
okay?
That block wall right there.
This one.
I was asking if that dotted line on your map or on your plan was that same block wall.
This block wall is this dotted line here. That's correct.
Okay.
So this dotted line is that
So you've
block
got
wall.
3 parcels that are butted to the property still.
We have, that's correct. Well, actually, they'll side all the way down. They'll rear to it all the way down, but only one, this one here would be the most affected. And it's just about a half of that right here. There's the car wash. This is the house. House sits back about 40 feet. It's probably back in about that area.
I mean, my general thoughts are that the parking lot landscaping, given the intensity of the landscaping of the overall plan, while the finger is actually intended to break up the sea of asphalt that's there, I think that could be potentially overlooked and allowed to move forward. But I'm concerned with reducing anything previously conditioned on the previous approvals related to any parcels to the west.
Okay. And the car wash hours are still 7A to 7P?
I think, yeah, the original conditions, I believe that's what it was. Got it someplace in this file here.
Well, I also agree. I wouldn't want to take another 4 feet to make it closer to the adjacent neighbors. When was Mark, when was the code? Because is it for the convenience store and a car wash? It's the 200 feet.
The minimum separation requirement of 200 feet for the convenience store and vehicle wash, Madam Chairman, has been in place for quite some time. My recollection, it's probably been at least a decade, maybe even more, Madam Chairman.
Okay, thank you so much. Because it looks like, yeah, they got the reduced separation in 2014. So here we are in 2020 trying to inch away more at the separation. So I agree with my fellow board members. I think it should stay at the 14 feet with what we have, since it was already granted a separation in 2014.
Plus, it also sets up a precedent for a reduced separation on the rest of the project to the south. And this area has been under a lot of discussion for a long time, so.
I agree. I'm open if somebody would like to try a motion on this one.
I'll make a motion on item number 10, WC 20400016 for denial.
Okay, so with that motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion on item number 11, DR2, actually, before I make a motion on that, can we approve this if we're not allowing, can we approve the design review if we're not allowing the reduction of that setback on the west side of that property?
Essentially, Mr. Vice Chairman, with the denial of the waiver of conditions, the recommendation of denial would basically be by default, you would recommend denial of the associated design review request for the site modifications and the parking lot landscaping.
But the parking lot landscaping, number 1, that's the design review for the parking lot finger in front of the store there. Perhaps you could recommend approval of number 1 and denial of number 2. I don't know about staff.
That may also be a potential alternative, Mr. Vice Chairman, as Mr. Vorensan indicated. Obviously, it's within the purview of the board to make the recommendation that they feel is appropriate for design review number 1.
Okay, then I'll make a motion on item number 11, DR 200445, for approval of design review number 1, and denial of design review number 2 per staff conditions.
Okay, so with that motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you and good evening.
Good evening. Okay. Next on our agenda is general business. Number 1, under general business, receive and make recommendations regarding the Enterprise Town Advisory Board Rural Low Residential Policy Recommendations draft for submission to Transition Clark County for possible action.
Okay, I have not received any additional comments or changes on this. So this is as it's from our previous meeting and requesting that the board would approve this as a board submission to the Transition Clark County process.
You didn't have any comments because I think it's well written.
Yes. I would concur and agree with that. I thought this was very well written and thought out. I did like, I really wanted to say I really liked your, under the analysis, the HOA part and how it's defined and controlled by NRS and the difference between an RMP who control the neighborhood and an HOA. So I like that you put that in there because I think sometimes there is some confusion on that. So that's why I didn't have any comments either, but.
We're essentially controlling neighborhoods with different standards.
Right.
You know, that's, and because different governmental bodies have, you know, the setup and who does what to whom.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, maybe that's something this Transition Clark County can look at and possibly make some recommendations to align them a little more closely.
Okay, so with that, I can go ahead and make a motion to approve the rural low residential policy recommendations that have been submitted to Transition Clark County. Okay, so that motion, all those in favor? Oh,
Can I just clarify? I think the motion should maybe be to approve the recommendations as presented and have Mr. Chestnut as the enterprise appointee to the committee submit?
I don't quite follow.
She said approve the submission. Nothing's been submitted
Oh,
yet.
so approve,
Yeah.
approve what's
So
been
you want to
presented.
approve what was presented and then have our representative submit it.
Yeah, it would
Just
be approve the
clarifying.
tab rule low residential policy recommendation.
So approve the recommendations
As
and-
presented,
as presented and have Dave Chestnut submit.
submit to transition Clark County.
Perfect.
So we'll go with that motion. Thank you. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that help. Okay. Number 2, under general business, make recommendations regarding discussion topics for future meeting with Clark County Public Works for possible action.
It was mentioned to me previously that one of our board members may have a better solution to rural road standards. And plus, we have several items from the capital budget items that should be a discussion with Public Works. So the intent is to start setting this up and get those items collected so we can schedule some type of meeting, whether, in person or via Zoom or whatever video conferencing is available. So that's the intent of this. Before you is the items that were submitted to Public Works and the members' interpretation of the comments from Public Works. And, it should be noted they are not an official position of the board and/or Public Works or Clark County in that. So, but that gives us a starting point to work from.
And I think that several of these items actually still apply, but from the previous meeting, that would be nice to get some updates on. Adding in the conversation that I've indirectly had with some of the Public Works teams about a potential desire to talk a little more specifically about rural roads and what standards could be done to help install infrastructure rather than just the pure no-off sites that tends to be done. So I think that adding that to this list would be beneficial as a discussion point.
I would maybe kindly suggest you guys narrow some stuff down. This will be a really long meeting, and that last meeting was a
And we
really
didn't
long
get through everything
meeting.
in that last meeting.
And that's a lot of staff if we're able to get a similar group, and we are much more short-staffed. So
I do
just
think
a suggestion that we don't want to run out of time, and I felt like we did run out of time last time, of maybe biting off some.
I think we could eliminate the solar-powered streetlights from the conversation, any items that are noted as completed, like the RTC report on RFP roads. But I do think it's, I'm personally not aware of any progress on the bridges at Jones.
Can I make a suggestion at this point is that take what's there, cross out what is no longer appropriate, send it on to Tiffany, and I would be happy to consolidate it for a future meeting.
Okay. Or, maybe just making it clear that we just want short updates on that first section or something.
Yeah.
I just feel like, I remember that last meeting and I thought it was super productive. That was one of the best meetings that I think we had with Public Works, and yet I feel like we didn't get to some of the important stuff. So I don't know whether that would involve rearranging the order of this.
Would it be possible
Or-
to potentially plan for maybe a second meeting after a quarter or so?
We could certainly ask that of them.
And then
Yeah,
maybe we can.
I think right now the thing is get our topics in order,
Mhm.
and then we can you know, take a look at, do we need one, maybe two meetings, from that.
And potentially, if some of this is more one division of Public Works, while other stuff might be other, that might be another strategy to employ. Because I think it was great, we had a good group, however, several of those people have retired. And we have not been able to replace, and so I just want to make it a really productive meeting, or two meetings, if that's
Yeah,
what
because
winds up being.
yeah, we've
the
gone
case.
over a year since we've talked to Public Works, and
Yeah,
it's, you know, and I think that, I think, Barry, didn't you find somewhere in the country it's got a fairly decent cross-section for rural roads?
I did. I'm not sure if it's appropriate to reference where and what standard it is, but it's something that in the Public Works meeting, I think I'd ask them their opinion on. I don't know if it's something that we would want to specifically identify.
I think in the meeting you can
Sure.
discuss.
Yeah, and also,
whatever.
they've had a long-term project going with RTC up in Lone Mountain on rural roads, too.
To your point, though, I think that, well, let me rephrase that. If we identify it in the list that we send to them, it might be beneficial because they'll be able to look it up and be prepared to come and
Oh, could always send them a cross-section.
Yeah, and I'm willing to request whatever, but I think it's reasonable to expect if we can get an hour out of a group of guys, and we were bursting at the seams and
Yeah.
missed some good stuff last time, so that's just a suggestion. We can submit as much or as little as you want, but
Yeah.
if you want to submit it all, I would suggest maybe
Well,
prioritizing
I don't
what
think,
you want
I
to
don't think all of
discuss
it
first.
needs to be. I think, you know, we need a couple areas out of the budget area that we want to look at. So,
to your point, I mean, for instance, the discussion item under traffic speed on Dean Martin, I've probably in the last year had 75 conversations with people about that specific speed modification. And we didn't even get a chance to speak about it. Should we specifically identify the cross-section for this? And do I need to say that in the meeting to add it to this list?
You don't need to say it in this meeting if what you guys are deciding, and this can be just discussion, you don't even have to take action on this tonight. You guys can discuss what you would like to available board members to meet with Public Works and prioritize. You can either bring it back and officially do it, or if if the other two board members are comfortable with the two who are taking the lead, prioritizing or, you know, giving some input tonight. It doesn't need to be.
Anybody else who would want to participate in that conversation is more than welcome. I do think that the cross-section that we're talking about from another county is probably worth adding to that conversation. But if somebody felt strongly they wanted to attend that meeting, they're more than welcome to.
yeah,
What, Kendall? Was that what you were saying you wanted to? Just kidding.
Yeah, I think the section on grading, we pretty much got our answer on that last time. I don't think that's needed.
I think
I think the local road vacations, we pretty much got the answer on that also. So I think those two big sections could come out and we can pare the list down tremendously.
And I think number, the first one on the list, as you guys were speaking about, is the cross-section for the rural standard roads, because I feel like that's been the most topic of conversation. So maybe that could be at the top of the list.
Yeah, over 5 or 6 years ago, this board did request a new cross-section from Public Works. And at that time, they had an RTC project about to start. That project's been completed. They're now doing the analysis work on it, so it'd be interesting to hear what they've come up with. And, you know, they said we may or may not like the results.
So what I'm hearing is, move cross-section up to the front, get the updates on these arterials, scrapping the LED lights, the local road vacations. Keeping grading?
No, get scrap grading.
Scrap grading, okay.
Yeah, their whole answer to that was, we look and determine whether or not the plan submitted is engineering correct. We do not suggest alternate plans.
Right. And in fairness, they never state that that is the only option. They just say if that is a indeed situation that they are presenting, so. So, yeah, if that's what you're saying, if, I think Mr. Chestnut is the one who owns this original document. So if you want to just give some direction or what consensus that you guys want to whittle this down, send it over to me and I will coordinate a meeting of some sort with Public Works. We'll see. I'm hopeful we can maybe.
Yeah, should we bring it back for at least one meeting so the board can see exactly what's being
That might be
requested?
good too.
I think that's the way to do it.
And or
so-
if there's any other suggestions.
Let's
yeah,
bring
if
it
any
back
other things come
for,
up.
let's bring it back for one more meeting. Yeah, I was trying to think which date would be best. Because we have November 10th and then November 24th.
And realistically, we're probably not going to meet through the holidays, so I don't know that this is urgent.
Right.
Let's see, so, yeah, we have,
Yeah, plus it may become the providence of whoever's sitting here next.
Right, that's what I was
Oy.
thinking of, to get this, yeah.
Okay. Which would be even more important to maybe get it in a good written form.
Yeah, I'm
So
thinking,
maybe your second November meeting.
I think we
Both of our
have-
November meetings, we've moved to Tuesdays
right.
because of
I think that
holidays.
24th meeting might be a little robust. I think there might be something on that one.
This shouldn't take long if you want to put it
There's
on your next
a-
agenda.
Yeah, the three that were postponed tonight come back on the 24th. The school comes back on the 10th. If the school comes back on the 10th, that's probably not a good meeting.
I think
to-
does the school come back on the 24th too?
I think they come back on the 10th.
Because it was a 30-day hold.
Yeah, from the previous meeting.
Oh, yeah, you're,
Hang on,
yep,
let me
Yeah.
check our
you're right.
minutes. Yep.
It is the 10th,
Yeah.
yeah.
And, from hearing in the rumor mill, the school may drop out and it may become a KB project,
Yeah.
but
Do you
who
think-
knows?
Is a 2-week turnaround to,
I can do,
would you
Yeah.
be
And I
okay
don't
to do-
imagine this is going to take a long time
Yeah,
once it's
no.
there. I think you guys just want to eyeball it, make sure you're all on the same page.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I can get it put together, I can give it to Tiff and Carmen. and-
Yeah, it would be nice to post it with whatever meeting we
Yeah.
have it on.
okay,
Which means
Because
by
then
next
the
Tuesday, I gotta have
public
it
has
done.
an opportunity to review as well.
Okay.
In case anybody were interested and wanted to.
Yeah,
stick
fortunately,
around in the
having most
meeting
of
and
this
comment.
stuff on the computer makes it easy.
yeah,
I can cut and paste in a hurry.
okay. So then let's bring it back for the November.
So November 10th is what we decided?
Yes.
ETAB.
That'd be perfect.
So just bring back to the November 10th ETAB meeting with revisions?
Yes, so I do need to make a motion on that. No.
Direction is fine on that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so with that, that brings us down to comments by the general public. Anybody like to make any comments?
I
If-
hear comments out there, but I don't think they're for us.
I don't think so
Yeah,
either.
if you have not submitted your current survey for the transition Clark County, the survey closes midnight on the 30th of this month. Please do so. They had 2,800 the first time.
When does it close?
Midnight on the 30th of October. And I believe it's central midnight.
Oh, interesting, okay.
Well, they're in mountain time, so.
So that's 10 PM. Let's say it in our time.
So 10 p.m., got it. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Okay, so I'll go ahead and close comments by the general public. Next meeting date is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020 at 6 p.m. I'll go ahead and make a motion at 6:56 p.m. for adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.